Kia ora te whānau. Tēnā koutou katoa, ko te rarawa me ngā kahu oku iwi no ahipara hau, ko professional tutu ahau, ki Taupōrongo, ko Eri Walker tōku ingoa. Last week at Taupōrongo, we had our own huia taumata, manoho at Pohara Marae in the Waikato, and we did a bit of maurako with Hani's brother Rana. So, as you can tell, we're very uncoordinated, but we Flash had been uncoordinated now, so that's fairly cool. It's an honour for me to be here today, and our team over there. In fact, I didn't realise that we were one of the few with 45 minutes to speak. Yesterday, I heard everyone complaining that they only had 10 minutes to speak, and they asked the IT guys to speak for 45 minutes. We did a test a few months back, and 75% of our kaimahi at Taupōrongo are introverts. So, so when we asked hands up who wants to speak at the symposium, everyone went, or hands down. Bit of a young ones reference there. If you know, you know. Actually, in that test, one of our team is an executive. And it wasn't our pro whakahaere Peter Fletcher Thompson, it was Waka Hoko. He was our executive for the day. So today, I'm just going to go and set the scene, and then I'm going to invite a few of my hoa kaimahi to join me and add some flavour to the conversation as we trust you can join us and add into the flavour too. My mum, this is my mum. I used to have two personas. On one hand, she was our mum, and on the other hand, she had this prim and proper persona. We'd see this in action whenever she used to answer the phone. Hello! And if the caller was someone we knew, like her sister, Auntie Bubby, she'd quickly change to our mum and go, "Ho, it's you, what you want?" This prim and proper persona would take a lot of energy. And I remember sitting down for lunch at home, and we'd have a large whānau, well, there's a large whānau, there's 16 of us, and boiled fish heads were on the menu. Just then, Mum spied people coming up the drive. She quickly gathered up all the fish heads, jammed them in the cupboard, ran to the pantry, got out the round wine biscuits, and placed them neatly on a plate in the middle of the table. Our manuhiri arrives, and here we were, sitting around a table with empty dishes, a plate of round wine biscuits, and the wafting aroma of boiled fish heads. My mum, personas, and boiled fish heads. What's that got to do with accelerating to innovate? By the way, up there, it's me sucking eyes out of the fish eyes. So over the last 6 to 8 months, our teams in Taupōrongo, our teams in Taupōrongo have been grappling with a new KNEW way of working that fuses a methodology called Agile with kaupapa wānganga. We're leaning on the whakaaro from Dr. Shane Edwards that actually I saw Shane on the weekend in the supermarket, and I mentioned that I was using his new way of working mantra, and he says, yeah, it's something old, but it's also something new. And then he was walking away with his trolley. So today, we're going to talk about this new way of working at Taupōrongo. I add a caveat. We say we haven't nailed this kaupapa yet and don't have all the answers, but we hope you can join us as we embrace this journey towards a breakthrough. So what is Agile? In 2001, a group of software developers created a manifesto based on 4 shared values, a list of principles, and various practices, which they named Agile. I won't go into these elements other than to say that Agile methodology is built on tenets of flexibility, rapid delivery, and collaboration. It encourages teams to adapt to changing circumstances, emphasising the importance of iterative processes and stakeholder involvement. Last year, Taupōrongo underwent a mini restructure which organised us into Agile-focused teams. Agile has its merit in the development of new software, but how do we adopt Agile practices and align them with our unique Te Wānga Aotearoa context and values? So hopefully we'll talk about that today. This image is pretty cool. We did a session at our noho, creating our pepeha, and got all our introverts to stand up and recite their own. Man, this is stepping out of your comfort zone in practice. While Agile emphasises efficiency and speed, we must consider how these values interact with kaupapa matua. We have an opportunity to rethink how we engage with Agile, not just as a methodology, but as a tool that can complement our way of working rather than define it, not just for Taupōrongo, but possibly for the whole of Te Wānga Aotearoa. Here we encounter tension. Traditional Agile practices often prioritise rapid success and fast-paced results, which can conflict with our principles of reflection, deep engagement, and thoughtful consideration of impacts on our whānau and our community. How do we navigate this tension? How do we utilise Agile to reinforce our cultural values without compromising them? Just as my mum managed to balance her two personas, we at Taupōrongo are learning how to navigate the intersection of Agile and kaupapa wānanga. Like her, we strive to adapt without losing sight of our core values, but in a way that truly suits our community and its needs. We're not attempting to overlay Agile onto our ways, but rather harmonise it in honouring both efficiency it offers and the rich context it must serve. So let's look at how Taupōrongo are fusing these two together. 20 years ago, when I started at Te Wānga Aotearoa, 20 years, geez. Life at Mahi was really crazy and hectic and overwhelming, and that was just at lunchtime. But what I noticed was how everyone was working together collaboratively towards the kaupapa. In 2007, we had help from TEC, tēnā koutou TEC, with their quality reinvestment program. Lindsay Baxter and her team from Te Karu Marama were involved in managing these projects. We were given funding to improve the overall quality of all facets of the organisation, and kaupapa wānanga was one of those facets, an all-encompassing principled Māori-centred framework to inform and guide the activities of Te Wānga Aotearoa. At the time, we brought together the brains trust of Te Wānanga. People like Taina Pohatu, Kate Cherrington, Kiritira Tangata, Phil Lambert, and Richard Timoananui, to name a few. Their task to define this natural way of working that was already occurring throughout the organisation. Natural like my mum's persona, not the prim and proper one, but the mum one. Talking to Richard Timoananui at the time, he said that they had distilled it down to like 9 pou, I think, but eventually they landed on koha, ahuratanga, kaitiakitanga, and Māori ora. Kate Cherrington related to me that it should be used as a lens over your mahi you're doing and make it your own and how you work. So that's what we've attempted to do, make it our own. So when we think about kaupapa wānanga Taupōrongo, we think about extending it a little bit, where koha is accepted into our space, where we spice it up with a bit of Māori ora, via ahuratanga, those safe spaces, and kaitiakitanga, and then pass it out as a koha to its prospective recipients so that they can take it and add further Māori to it. It's typical IT, inputs in, inputs out. So what does placing kaupapa wānanga at the centre of our practice mean? We are nurturing every koha we receive and deliver. By nurture, we are asking you to come on the journey with us, with your kaupapa. Often we receive a koha or kaupapa, we hear stories like, I don't understand what those Taupōrongo do. We'll leave it with them and leave them to sort it out. And my favourite, all I want is a button to press. We need to bring our people along for the journey by recognising that each koha is not just a task, but a valued taonga that must be acknowledged and reciprocated. Speed and responsiveness are essential, but we must also ensure that these energies are channeled through kaupapa wānganga, which respects our relationships and the environment. So what does this look like in practice? We acknowledge every and all requests for our help. We respect our service level agreements. We maintain clear and easy points of contact for every need, and we seamlessly assign every koha to the right team and follow it through to conclusion. While your kaupapa is in our care, we acknowledge that the relationships and responsibilities involved in each request, considering their impact on users, our policies, our systems, and in our environment, so doing the right thing. What does this look like in practice? We determine the legal aspect of software we procure. We understand the cybersecurity of it. We ensure data sovereignty, and there's continuous planning for the future of our systems environment. With kaitiakitanga, while your kaupapa is in our care, we design with users in mind. We iterate and prioritize technology practices that maintain or enhance the quality and integrity of our systems and environments, so doing the right thing. What does this look like? We bring our kaimahi and tauira along for the journey. We provide spaces for us to collaborate. We are in constant communication. We ensure the experiences we create meet expectations. We pivot where we're not meeting those expectations. Each completed kaupapa is seen as a valuable contribution that enhances the experience of our whānau, creates positive tauira-centred outcomes, and reinforces the continuous cycle of ako wānganga. I remember asking Phil Lambert, why did they choose Māori order as one of the pou for kaupapa wānganga? He said that ultimately that is what everyone is striving for, the pursuit of well-being. For us at Taupōrongo, we too are striving to achieve Māori order for the kaupapa we have been entrusted into our care. The commitment to well-being can be effectively integrated through adaptability, collaboration, and continuous improvement. Placing well-being at the forefront aligns a tangata-centred approach, fostering a supportive work environment that enhances engagement and productivity. So what does this look like in practice? Oh, sorry. Back. Technology. We reflect on the experiences we've been provided. We ask for feedback, and we are continually improving. So incorporating well-being engages us into ako wānganga, which involves regular feedback loops through check-ins and retrospectives, to name a few, allowing teams to address concerns swiftly. Additionally, focus on teamwork and communication can strengthen collaboration, building trust and resilience within teams. By merging the pursuit of well-being, we'll create a thriving culture that benefits both individuals and the kaupapa. So this is what we've distilled so far with this new way of working. I won't go into explaining this too much detail, other than to say Kiritiro Tangaka gave me his whakaaro about kaupapa wānganga. He said it was like a tornado. Woof, woof, woof. So put that on the list of terminology to have on that list upstairs. Woof, woof, woof. So we too from here. These are wahine toa at our marae kura of Taupōrongo, not many of them. Two Māori kaimahi there, Gracie on this end, and Whaiaduna. Just threw that up there. Much like the lingering aroma of fish heads that hints at a unique blend of flavours, our journey at Taupōrongo combines the rich essence of kaupapa wānganga with a fresh innovation of Agile. We aim to infuse every project with the authenticity of our cultural practices and the efficiency of modern methodologies, creating a distinctive and harmonious approach to innovation. So, kōrero mai. So I'm just going to get our team to get up here, and we're going to just kind of kōrero a bit more about it. I'm just going to kind of walk back through and make these as headings to talk about. And so I'll get our team to talk, introduce themselves first.
Kia ora, ko tīpene ahau, te eri nā te iwi o ngā iwi o Waitaha ka te mamonia kaitahu I whanau hau I o te poti, engari e noho ana kei rote te reo Waikato taunui ki tamu. Te amutu I nai nei, ko taku mahi e mahi e pāna ki te raunga, data, me ngā information management, me tahi atu, boring stuff. So yeah, I do IT stuff. Worked at Taupōrongo Aotearoa twice. Second time around, I'm almost 8 years. But I worked back at Taupōrongo Aotearoa back in 2005 for a couple of years. Anyway, kia ora.
Given. Kia ora te mana. Ko taisi tuku ingoa ko ngaki tuku iwi ko kaupapa whakahaere, which is my new name, Vini, did you know that? My new job. Yeah. I'm product manager for corporate systems, which I don't like corporate systems, and it should be kaimahi experience.
Oh, yeah.
I take care of Eddie, actually Eddie takes care of me, but most of the work. And obviously I pushed him up there because Vinny said, you need someone to talk, and I went, no, not me, you know, like that. So I take care of all of the HR systems, finance, and the people that do take care of all of those systems, libraries.
Actually, the chain goes longer. I was like, do you want to? No. Jason, do you want to? And the ball finally ended with Eddie. But amazing speaker that it is. It was a beautiful presentation today, as you always do. Ko Vini Pant Taupōrongo, Hey Director Digital Experience, Taupōrongo. So yeah, taking care of application, and that is my portfolio. But yes, as Eddie said, we are finding a lot of how to work together with that can bring some agility into the business, and that is what this Kaupapa is all about. How can we bring some ways of working that can give us this flexibility to chop and churn, do different things together, but still married to the same vision, same mission. How can we do that? So this is what we are trying to explore right now, and with this presentation, hopefully we've got something. But yes, we are open for a kōrero right now. It's like, what can we work together on as well, and we would like to listen to you as well.
Yeah, and I suppose just to be frank, we came to the space because we had people who new kaimai who were coming in with their ideas on these new methodologies, and we had some old methodologies like the waterfall, which is another way of doing projects, and they were clashing. And I remember just putting them up in my hand and I says, hey, we've already got this way of working. It already exists within Taupōrongo Aotearoa, and it works really well. I think it's a challenge. One of the challenges for us, for you, is to go down to that next level of kaupapa wānga and understand how it works for you in your departments, in your uepu. It's a good journey, and we're still going on that journey. And there's a lot of bit of infighting as to how it should work, but it always comes back to these key principles that's been there since the start. And so, yeah.
So the journey for me started probably about 2.5 years ago when Adam was our at that time I was acting in a role, taking over from Christy, and Adam decided he wanted to go down the Agile path, create a product team, and it was like, okay, I don't know what it means, I don't know what Agile is, I don't know how that works, and for the last year and a half, I suppose, me, Eddie, and the team have been still working in a waterfall style And that, loud enough? Can you hear me? I don't know.
No, we can't.
No, you can't. Kia ora. Sorry, I thought I was now. So, for the last year, as Izzy said, we've been trying to figure out how we change our ways and how that works with the rest of the wānanga. And actually, Eddie, a lot of this is Eddie's work. I'd just like to put that out there right now. Taking all of his experiences with the wānanga, and he's put this together, and we've got a wider group, our product whānau, which has evolved Eddie's original idea about how we merge Agile with ako wānanga and kapapoana.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, Jason. What we tried to do 1 year back when I joined in, it's almost 1 year, it's not that much of time, we brought some of the practices from the Agile world, which is a product whānau, and the Eddie and group has been, Jason's group has been challenged with that as well. So we were trying to build our product families, which is basically looking after a product and enhancing it and keep enhancing it. It's a continuous journey. It doesn't happen to be like one day I'm done with it and that's it. So those are the families that we were trying to bring out with this kaupapa. And when we tried to do it, we started to think about it. All the product owners and product managers got together, and this is the thinking that they have developed. And yes, Eddie has been leading that space. We call it product for now lean coffee kind of thing. So they meet every month, and they keep thinking about that and next evaluation, next iterations. Currently, in the application suite that I hold, the portfolio that I have, there are 3 product families. One is, as Jason was saying, towards corporate system. He doesn't like it. My experience is more like it. The other one is Tōrero experience product whānau. And the third one is looking after our learning management system. Once the Tōrero are in our whare, how do we look after them? So that's another family that we have formed. So these are the 3 families looking after the outcomes, basically, and not looking after a system, but an outcome. So what the difference between the two is, when you look after a system, you just operate, maintain it. But when you look after outcomes towards your Tōrero, you enhance it to the next level and the next level and the next level. So that's same systems, but then taking that system a bit further, challenging it. How can we incorporate this as well? How can we integrate better data? So all that integrated system thinking comes to the family. It's not looking after a system, it's looking after the outcome. So looking after from the outward view rather than the inside view. So that is what we have challenged in the following few months, and that's where we have landed. So hope that, it's all into the forming right now, I would say, and it's a long journey for us.
Any questions? Shock and awe.
First, thank you for presenting this. This is really fascinating. This is a process that we're also undergoing within Whakatairanga and Te Pinamanaki right now as well. We're looking at our processes and how we can tie them more explicitly, I'd say, to kaupapa mātua. My pantai for you, well, I guess I have 2 pantai. Is first, how within your team you rolled this out and got buy-in from everybody, all of the kaimahi and management. And then secondly, how you see this interfacing with other teams, and I guess how communicating your processes, especially related to the kaupapa mātua, can help with Taupōrongo's interactions with other kuleku.
You've got the mic.
I suppose we got to this point out of some really big raruraru. It was getting to the point where kaimahi Māori and Taupōrongo were being left out of things. Now, I won't go too much into that because it's a bit harsh. But it made us, as kaimahi Māori, say, okay, do we sit here and just go with the flow? Or do we be like dead fish and go with the flow? We've got to stand up at some point. And our kaimahi Māori did stand up at that point and go, no, we can't have all of these different things come in and be who we are, because we're not like that. That's our prim and proper way, and we're not natural with that. We want to be mums. And so, I'm not sure if that's answering your question, but it's just, my challenge to our kaimahi who have been here for a while, if that's happening in your space, stand up and speak out, because it's not natural.
Tēnā koe eri, o tēnā koe te katoa. He pātai tāpū. I'm a kaiako in He Wakahiringa, based at Mangakotukutuku, and we had a taurira whose project, as part of his master's program, was to design to indigenise the e-learning development space within Taupōrongo. Whatever happened to that project? Do you know if it was implemented or given to you guys, or?
I wish we had Matt Reidi here, who looks after that space, and he's struggling with how do we deliver this this online way of learning. It sort of reminds me of Bentham in one of his sayings, like, what is education and who decides? And so Matt's having the same sort of kōrero with other people in the organisation about, like, what is online education and who decides? They're really struggling with that. I can't kind of talk to that particular situation.
Yeah,
but yeah.
Because from our point of view, even though he wasn't my particular taurira, it really brought in kaupapa matua to the fore.
Yeah.
And based on all the atua. Yeah. It was quite exciting from our point of view. So
Yeah.
I just wondered, could that could help?
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of work. From our point of view, we're there to support the learning. But Matt at the moment is just saying, well, this is how big our systems are for that supporting, and how do we allow that not to be a barrier to it, but how do we support that?
And just to maybe talk about the tensions that we've got within our department. So if you think about every software system, how many of them are created by Māori? Almost zero. And waterfall, all of these methodologies around how to do work, how many of them were created by Māori? So we've got all of this kind of like tauiwi way of thinking, whakaaro, working, and we're having to manage all of this within a Māori organisation and keep the essence of what it means to be Māori in that. So that's kind of like what we're dealing with within our department, and that's kind of an ongoing thing. And so one thing that I will say, a little bit off topic, please get more people from your whānau to do IT. There's a huge shortage of Māori IT workers. You think about it, we've had all of these treaty settlements happening over the past 10, 15, 20 years. Back 20 years ago, when the treaty settlements were starting to occur, and before that, there was a call to put out, we need more lawyers, we need more lawyers. So that wave kind of came and went, and now there's heaps of Māori lawyers. There's been that call a few years ago, we need more Māori as doctors. And so like now the number of Māori doctors graduating has just like gone through the roof in the past sort of 5 or 10 years. But we still have this really, really big gap of Māori in IT. There's a huge shortage, and yeah, if they were out there, we would employ them. But there's just not many coming through, and we need way more people who are Māori in IT than what we've currently got. And that will help. Yeah, double, triple. Yeah.
With Wahine.
Yeah.
Just saw that picture.
There's 55 in our team, so not many wahine.
Not many Wahine. Not many Wahine. On top of that, just two. Yeah. Two Wahine Māori. So yes, please bring it on.
When you say IT, what area are you?
Yeah, so it's such a wide-ranging area. Like we have kind of infrastructure where you're looking after servers and telecommunications and that sort of stuff. You go. Yeah, some people are into it. You know, you can be like a project manager. You can do data stuff. You can be like an analyst, business analyst, like an IT-focused business analyst. You can do software development. Yeah, it's just a really, really broad field, and there is somewhere that you will fit in.
There are layers of it, as Stephen is saying. Product, taking care of the product itself. Software product is what I want to say here. Then under that, system admins, under that, testers, tested and quality-looking people as well. So you
help desk support.
Yeah. And then operations, where you support your service desks.
Yeah.
And you heard a lot about that as well.
Yeah, so we've had like one person from our Taupōrongo, a call centre. He's now working in our department. So you know you can go from a call centre into our IT department. It's possible. There's a lot of pathways to get in there. Yeah.
And then coding, yes, as well at the top.
I think this is really pertinent at the moment because we're doing a lot of work with Ernest Young, who are pushing an agile methodology as a way, and because of my experience starting Taupōrongo with Hangaro at the time, and coming across things like having stand-ups where as Māori, when we wānanga, we noho.
Yeah.
So it's just simple little things like that which I can understand cause that tension. How do you navigate those tensions like agile and failing fast with Māori kaupapa such as ata and the ability to slow down and let people catch up, or to say tai hoa, we haven't thought of this.
Yeah, we had a project like that earlier this year where we had an external company come in and develop in an agile way, and it felt to us like we were sort of an imposter syndrome, because they're in these massive consultants, they must know what they're doing, and so we're like stepping back and just sort of eating our popcorn as we watch them develop this stuff. But then I put up my hand and started questioning some of the things that were coming through, and I got told off because it wasn't hitting a deadline that they needed to hit. And so, I got wrapped on the hands for that, and I go, well, we're wanting this sort of review and asking them to, hey, tai hoa a little bit, we want to join in on this this development, and you're going too fast. And it just so happened that the project didn't quite deliver. And we're still kind of getting all the things that they did fixed up. But now we're sort of getting back on that road. But I think for us, we have to trust ourselves that we have some really awesome people in our team that really know their stuff. And the plus we've got is that we know our people as well.
There are struggles and tensions. And we are navigating through them. You're right. Stand-ups. Should we call them stand-ups? Should we? Throughout the work, we should. We should make it our own. And as this group has got together and got mature, at least we have got to this stage where we are
where we are finding our own spaces and our own terminology to work with. We are just calling it better ways to work with. And you're right, there are terminologies like backlog hitting us all the time. What is this backlog? What does it mean? Just a priority list? Okay, we don't call that way, we call it this way. So these are the things that we are thinking about all the time. And yes, navigating through them is another, we have to make it our own, otherwise it won't happen. As Eddie is saying, it'll fail. Until unless you make it your own, it'll not go anywhere. So yes, that is the tension that we are navigating.
Yeah, I think you talked about it there, Kane. Agile's about fast development, but it's also about failing fast and lots, which sort of, for me, it's a bit of a struggle. Like, if I fail, that means something I've done fails use, and if it fails use, it fails our program. So, bit of a struggle trying to deal with that as well.
Phil, got a couple more questions.
Tēnā koe, tēnā koutou, o tēnei kātiraka. In the knowledge that that wouldn't be the first time you've been told of Vini. To what extent is this application of kōrero across Taupōrongo? Is it just your work group, or is the whole kit and caboodle?
At the moment, we're just trying to work it within our we call it products. Let's say the 3 products. But the noho that we just had, we utilise this sort of kaupapa wānanga in developing the program for the noho, and the way we worked within the noho, we were just chopping and changing the program. And it was one thing that Peter Fletcher said at the Poloaki. He says, that's how we need to be in Taupōrongo. We need to be flexible, have a plan, yes, but flexible to move that plan and make it as easy to do as possible. And so I think that was the benefit of the noho, where we could, within our own ways of being and doing, we could actually show how we could actually work together.
What advice would you have for other directors within Taupōrongo and in other uepu for adopting this methodology or way of doing things?
Can I answer that one? Yeah. It's not up to the directors, it's up to the kaimahi. It's never been, it wasn't led by Vini or Nick. Like Eddie said earlier, it was out of the raruraru between the Māori kaimahi and the rest of the whānau and Taupōrongo that this come about. So it's for the directors, let your team figure it out. Don't put your hand up and say this is how it's done. Let them figure it out in their way.
It really needs a bit of
it needs some courage from those people who are our kaimahi Māori, who have been here, who are going with the flow, like dead fish, and not being those dead fish anymore, and just jumping out of the water and saying, hey, it's not on, this is the way to go.
So just for context, currently 37% of our department is Māori and 63% are non-Māori, and because we've had quite a few new positions created in the last couple of years, we have a lot of people coming into the department who are very technically proficient but may know absolutely nothing about Māori culture. And so we have to do quite a lot of support of them to get them to understand what the organisation is about, what being Māori is about, and why having that as the core of how you do your work is what keeps this organisation unique and is the value proposition, if you'd like to call it, that makes us different from every other institution out there.
And I'm one of them, and I trust that my whānau will bring the best of us.
So we'll just end it right there. Thank you, whānau, for being here this morning.
Koutou, ki rangi te mihi ki a koutou ngā whānau Taupōrongo o koutou kōrero, o koutou manaaki ki a mātou I tēnei ata. Ngā mihi nui kia kaha I o koutou arahau I tēnei raru taukume, te mea. Kei te tū mātou I ngui a koutou ki te tauku. Kia ora.